Okay, welcome. Welcome everybody. Sir PT, are you there?
I'm here. I didn't even see your co-host invite. I was vibing too hard on that music. That was great, man.
Thank you, thank you. Well, it's awesome to be here after a whole week of all kinds of stuff happening in the markets and in various projects I'm involved in. So yeah, great to be here. I those of you that look at my channel, that look at my channel and also have seen in the community the rewards that some people have been getting out of the MEV bot, that was just crazy to see. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen some alpha testers getting 50, 60, $70 chunks like every other hour coming into their wallet, just from MEV transactions. And I'm just so excited to share that, and then also to talk with you and asking you if this is the norm, how all of this will unfold. It's very exciting to see alpha testers actually making money every day right now.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a very exciting development. And I think to start off with is that when we rolled out the initial alpha testing phase, that it was our priority to test on interaction within the bot and those functionalities. The testing was not even around creating successful MEV transactions for the alpha testers. And to see that happen or progress during the alpha testing phase is a great development, and it's great to see. And I think it accounts to that our development team is highly skilled. I've mentioned this numerous times, and they aren't sitting still. So sure, we are uh, uh, making updates on the Telegram bot and the sniper and the trader, etc. But in the meantime, um, the MEV bot and all the other functionalities are improved as well. That is a continuous progress, and all the improvements that are on the list still are will scale this significantly. We haven't scratched the surface yet on some improvements that can be done.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite amazing, right? So this one person was saying they've been testing for 3 weeks and they got like zero point 0.5 ETH. And I think the original testing amount on those wallets was like half an ETH. So I'm not sure if that person actually added more or what, but I do believe it's around that number. And getting that initial out after 3 weeks of using the MEV, that's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, for sure, and I think it shows that the most active users on the in the alpha testing phase get the most results as well, and I think that's a good thing that really aligns with our entire ecosystem, where we want to the most active users in the of the tools in the ecosystem get rewarded quite handsomely, and it's nice to see that it happens here as well. That the people that are very active with the alpha testing, they reap the rewards here on those. So that's great. I believe there was a user that had quite a successful MEV transaction the other day.
Yeah, I saw that, like $900 or something in one MEV transaction.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, is this something that then people will can be expecting depending on how they trade? Like, how does that look down the road?
Oh, do you mean the $900 MEV transaction?
No, just in general, that the type of like every other hour or every 3-4 hours to actually get some wrapped ETH dropped in their wallet. Is that something they can? Is that the norm?
It's let's see. it's quite hard to pinpoint what the exact norm will be, because different things will scale in parallel here. So imagine we have a numerous amount of users. We have a lot of users, a lot of transaction throughput that offers more MEV transactions to be landed successfully. All the transactions that go through the ecosystem as well. But as we have more users, it will also be that multiple users might have the same token approved, but still they would get some profits of that. So yes, I would say that the norm would be that it is a continual thing to get wrapped Ethereum as rewards there. But it depends on the user activity and what tokens they approve, etc., what opportunities there are. So
Right, obviously.
yeah, but
So from
yeah,
okay, go ahead.
yeah, but this is how the system works, and it will scale with more users and more transaction throughput.
So, like, I've been watching this quite closely, and I can see that it's about like looking for opportunities, meaning, you know, 0 tokens um, that obviously have some volume, have good liquidity, and then, you know, if the user owns like 1% or 2% of that supply, so obviously then it's some kind of token that they get in early, or they have a lot of money, then that's fine either way. But then if they have a lot of supply, then they basically get in and, you know, they win those MEV transactions. And so even once it's public and once 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people, or I don't know, 10,000 people are using it, you might still get to be, you just have to hunt a little bit and find opportunities where probably not many other people are using the accept bot yet, and you still get to take full advantage of these kind of situations. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it really feels like you have an MEV bot uh, in your hands that you can privately use, and that's a huge service to the community that Accept has been, you know, is delivering.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, most definitely. And you'll see that you have different types of users at some point. Some users might be more of a hunter, like you mentioned, on either new launches or tokens that match their specific criteria. But you'll also have users that would target more established coins. For instance, I think we touched on that last week, where we had MEV transactions on ETH USDT pair or ETH DAI pair, ETH BNB pair even. So those are more higher liquidity tokens that could be targeted as well. And as we scale the ecosystem with more transaction throughput, and bundling those, that would be very beneficial to land those MEV bundles and also open up profit margins right there. So you'll have different types of users within the ecosystem, and everybody is basically helping each other with their usage.
Yeah, that's really really great, because now, like you said, I might not be like hunting as a user, but I might be just using it as a trading tool, and constantly every day like collecting my reward points. Then I'm still eligible for some of the share of other people, because I'm still getting share of the ecosystem, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, it's very good, very good. So there's been, I just, you know, I urge everybody to keep an eye on the community chat, because you get to see what the alpha testers are doing, and you get to see how much they're earning in their, you know, during their alpha testing phase. And I personally have gotten quite a few DMs from people asking, hey, when can I use this? Where is this available? Which makes me very, you know, positively amazed about the community really wanting to use this very, very soon. So there's been quite some development this week. Would you like to talk about that?
In regards to the alpha testing phase, you mean?
No, just in general, what has been happening this week in Accept development in general.
Yeah, sure. So we've had some updates on the alpha version for the alpha testers, and we're ready to push some minor updates in that regard. Did some fixes for that, and that's just continuing as is. We're very close with Web UI. I wasn't planning on mentioning this actually, but it just popped in my head just now. So that's a very good thing that's being developed. But a very big one is that we've been keeping quiet a little bit, and I believe you even asked about it. It was either last VC or the one before, and which is one of a pillar utility, I would say, and that's the Marketception bot, which has been developed, and we're testing that currently, and that's going quite well, I must say.
So, okay, yes, we did speak about that last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. I asked a little bit about it because it's quite an exciting tool. So, will that enable every user to essentially become a market maker on every token that they are using, or what's the in and outs of that tool that will be added at some point?
Yeah, so in the basic essence, that would be a possibility. The Marketception is, you can look at it from two perspectives. One is that it would provide users like their own market maker. They could start very basic market making utilities like grid trading, and certain floors, and there are all different types of metrics that we can set in. And you could use that for auto DCAing into a position. For example, you would trigger a buys if a price is under a certain threshold, or scale out of positions more slowly without having to require like set high slippage for those positions. It's quite a versatile tool, and that's from the user perspective. And this is quite interesting for projects as well to use this specific tool for their own project.
So will there be some kind of incentive for projects to use this? And if so, what will Accept holders and Accept as an ecosystem gain from having other projects use this tool?
So if you look at our entire ecosystem, our ecosystem is based on a couple of things. That's one is volume, which generates fees that is beneficial for the ecosystem, and the other is transaction throughput. So a higher number of transactions would allow us to bundle those with MEV transactions, with snipes, etc., basically helping the efficacy of these MEV transactions and snipe transactions. So that's very important. That's why the Marketception is a very important part of our ecosystem, and allowing users to use that tool will benefit in what I just mentioned, volume and transaction throughput. But on the project side, just the same. It's an entire market that would be more untapped if we don't go with the protocol to protocol business that way to target projects for market making opportunities with our tools. Now, having said that, projects can use the tool for their own market making. You can imagine that it's important for projects to have like an effective liquidity mechanism, essentially, because if you use Marketception, what you can do is in certain areas you perform buys as a project, and that would basically add liquidity to the market. You're adding liquidity to the market if you perform buys at a certain price or a certain buy zone, for example. And if you scale out of those, which would be optional. Some projects might opt not to do that, but if you scale out of those positions, you extract a little bit of liquidity from the market, and that way you can basically market make your project and add liquidity in key areas, and for some projects that can be very beneficial to do so.
Oh, I see. Okay. And how does that, how, like, okay, so for a total newbie, it sounds like a market making tool where I just simply place limit orders, um, for, you know, buys and sells, but that's actually not what it is, right? As you just explained right now, it has more to do with like bundling orders. And so could you go into that a little deeper, because I'm not sure if I'm understanding correctly what you mean there.
There's a difference between I think it might be interesting to explain the difference between limit orders and how we structure the market maker here. So limit orders, you would say, okay, if the price is 1, I want you to buy X amount, and that's a limit order. Whenever the price is at a certain point, then it triggers the buy for X amount of volume. Now, in our tool, it checks in intervals whatever the price is, and if it's within your buy zone, it triggers a buy for a set amount of volume, and you can set the volume per trade, and you can set the volume for the entire volume you want to the bot to use entirely, and that way you won't have like a specific point where you trigger a buy. You have the option to dollar cost average into your position. So meaning if the price is below 1, for instance, and the bot checks if the price is below 1, it triggers a buy for a certain amount of volume that you've set. In 30 minutes later, it checks the price again. Is it below 1 still? It could be like 80 cents, for example. It triggers another buy. If it drops lower, you could also set, okay, if it's below 70 cents, I want you to increase the amount of volume, increase the size, so you can really play with your dollar cost average right there, which is a way more powerful tool compared to just setting a limit order.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking, because I mean, with some of these other bots, you know, or even if you use 1inch, you could essentially place limit orders. So that's why it's good to have this conversation to understand how does that actually differ when you use accept, the marketception.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. So okay, to just like recap that, it means I say I want to buy below $1 with this amount, and then it will just scale that amount in however, you know, it deems fit. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And the same way, if I want to scale out my position, or I want to scale out a quarter of my position above a certain price, it will just scale that out.
Yeah, that's essentially there will be other iterations with more functionality. We could base it on more data, and to set more specific zones and that type of stuff. But in essence, that's absolutely correct. Scaling into and scaling out of positions, which is very beneficial for a user, and we've been talking about about users that way. But it's very interesting for projects as well. And I think, let me check real quick, because we promised last week that we would do an announcement for this Spaces, and I think it's quite a good time to actually do so.
Okay, go ahead, go for it.
Just 1 second. Okay, I think everybody's ready to post this. So to roll out our Marketception 2 projects, we've been working with a couple of key figures in the space, actually, and also key figures that were involved with the launch of Exception and the support of Exception. And we've decided that we're going to roll out an ambassador program, which allows for projects to apply to get marketception and use the tool, get the guidance of the ambassadors, which are becoming experts of our tools, and also getting their support in terms of how to best utilize marketception, market making, and how to perform best within certain buy and sell zones to protect their liquidity management.
Wow. So how does that look in practicality? If let's say I had a different project and I wanted to have that market making tool, what's the process and how does that work?
So there are two types of processes at work here. One is that a project can apply directly via exception, and they can we'll be posting a form where projects can apply to be the first ones to try out marketception with an ambassador, and they can fill in their project details and also request which ambassador they have a preference for to be connected with, and there will be an exception team member involved there as well. And the other side is where the ambassadors will be able to push projects that they are supporting already. And mind you, these are already experts in their field and really supporting projects already, and they can really push projects to have the most benefit with the exception marketception tool. So basically, the ambassadors have the ability to push projects towards our tool, which opens up a wild range of opportunities for both the projects that are being onboarded by the ambassadors, but also for the ecosystem of exception, because we're tapping into basically some type of treasury management, liquidity management of these projects, which can generate quite a bit of volume and transactions, which are very beneficial for our entire ecosystem.
That also sounds like a huge marketing opportunity, right? I mean, if new projects start using the Accept tool, that brings essentially more eyes to the ecosystem.
Oh yeah, for sure. So all the projects that are being onboarded, they can post about them using the exception marketception tool with the ambassador, which is a great marketing tool for themselves because they have an edge on other projects that don't use this type of tool for market making, and that's a great marketing tool for exception as well.
Excellent. Well, very good. I think those are major things. And when do we expect this to happen? Like the marketception bot to actually roll out to the ambassadors. When do we expect this to happen?
We're opening up the form right now for projects to apply, and we'll be using next week to check out these projects, but also to get the demonstrations out to ambassadors to explain how the marketception tool works and provide support for that. So I would say that the week after, we can expect to actively start utilizing the tool.
Okay, great. And by the way, I'm not sure if we spoke about this, maybe I overheard, but does that mean if someone else in another project uses the exception tool for market making, there will be additional fee influx into the Accept ecosystem that will then benefit the users?
Oh, for sure. It's just like any other tool that we have in our ecosystem where we have a fee structure in. So we have the volume through our system. And imagine this, that if you have a dozen projects using this tool for the market making on their own token, they can generate quite a bit of volume and on that volume, we obviously have a fee, just a normal fee that we have for the other tools as well, and that goes through our ecosystem with the I think you've seen the flywheel mechanic. So that will fill the loyalty reward pool, etc.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, it's great to be part of a project that doesn't just have one income source, like trading fees or something, and then that's all you can benefit from. But here is like a multiple income stream. It's a full business that has many income streams and shares these income streams through the usage of the ecosystem in form of rewards. And I think that's fantastic because it gives everybody a feeling of pride of being part of something that is growing, and everybody can actually feel that growth in their own pockets.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. I fully agree. And I think it would be great if we get one of the ambassadors. We have a list of initial ambassadors that will be onboarded. I see we might be able to bring up Simon for a quick talk. But before that, I will announce that the initial ambassadors are Rich Apes. I see Rich Apes right here in the Twitter Spaces.
Oh, I just want to say he's an awesome guy. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you should absolutely go ahead and do that.
100%. 100%. Rich Apes was one of the key people to orchestrate the ambassador program as well. Had a lot of input in there. So props to that for sure. Rich Apes, Gems of Ra, which is I think a very, very big name in this space, and we're very proud to have him on board for the initial ambassador list as well. Simon from North Node. Simon's in the Twitter Spaces here too. And Pope Smoke. I'm not sure if Pope is in the Spaces right here. And additionally, I have myself and the partner Herstabu, and will be mostly for supporting the initial ambassadors there. So that's our first initial list of ambassadors right there, and we'll be expanding until we reach a cap of ambassadors, and we want to target multiple areas of expertise. So this tool can be utilized for projects for their own token market making, but you can also imagine that we could target DAO structures or funds that would want to utilize this type of tool and require an ambassador for support. So we'll be targeting multiple areas, and we want to put in ambassadors that can target those areas most effectively.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Like I said, it goes back to the whole concept of a business is not just one stream of income, because that one stream of income might dry up or have problems or something.
Yeah.
But you have all these different streams of income that will eventually benefit the users, and I think that shows how successful this whole road can be and this whole exploration can be. And we've seen this week, just from the alpha testers that were only using the MEV tool, how successful they already are in the first 2 to 3 weeks of testing.
Yeah.
And that's even without shared rewards. That's just personal rewards from personal trading. With the shared rewards, it will even be more and bigger, because you also benefit from other people and what their actions are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it all works in synergy. And I think somebody I spoke to that I was explaining what type of utilities we're trying to roll out, and they said, well, each utility could be a project in itself, but it's way more powerful if we combine it and make it work in synergy within the entire ecosystem.
Definitely. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm happy to be here. Always nice to talk to you. If you wanted to bring up Simon or someone else, let me know. I think I can request them to speak. Add as a speaker. It was Simon,
Yeah,
right?
Simon, yeah.
Simon is connecting. Yo, Simon, how are you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, hi guys.
Hey, what time is it there?
It's 8:30. I'm in London time.
Oh, that's
at the
not
moment.
bad. That's
So
not bad at
it's
all.
pretty decent. No late nights here. Just had a nice pizza and just came back from there. So ready for the weekend.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
I'll keep it short. I joined halfway through, and a lot of good points that I talked about with SurPT were points that we discussed. But what I will say at least is what we like about these new features is, first of all, these are just separate revenue streams from the Mavception bot. So as you said, that has multiple benefits. From a company point of view, these are things that indeed lower the risk. So for us, from an investment point of view, it lowers the risk because we have multiple streams of revenue that generate something in case something happens in one side and the other one flourishes. This balances things out. That's good from a risk perspective. But also just from a usage perspective, this is something that we can't wait. That's why we're also in the ambassador program. Can't wait to use, because apart from having tokens that we bought, that we invested in, and that we can use in the Mavception bot, now we can also use these for helping our projects launch. Because some of you probably know, but for some this might be a new thing, that if you're just buying and holding tokens, you don't know how important liquidity can be. So liquidity is very important for certain players at a somewhat lower market cap. It's very difficult for larger players to get into position. All of us probably saw it in the last couple of weeks when there were larger buys. You see that the market moves a lot. So it's very difficult for larger players to actually get a certain amount of exposure that they want into a certain project. And with this market making bot, that's something that is very good for them. So it gives them options. So it gives us options for attracting larger players. But it also, for projects that we will launch this for, it will give options as well. And that it by itself will generate revenue, and the revenue will generate fees, which in case is again also beneficial to Mavception. So all of that combined is very exciting. And and all new futures, which I think we have to say a big thumbs up for the team for building these things while we are all celebrating Christmas and New Year's. and we come back and we have a bunch of new really nice features that I think everyone's very excited to start using.
Very exciting. Well, thanks a lot, Simon.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can talk for at least a half an hour, but we want to keep it short, so I'll say more the next time.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Simon.
Welcome. Have a great night. Have a great weekend.
You have a great morning.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, we went over the half an hour. I think that was packed with alpha, packed with like product features. I'm very excited to see them coming through. Let's tone it down, and if anybody wanted to say something, they can quickly in the Telegram chat. If you have any questions, please text SurPT in the Telegram chat right now, and we can go ahead and give just a few minutes for questions if there are any. Otherwise, we will talk again next week. And I just want to thank very much everybody that showed up today and took the time to listen. Appreciate every one of you. Great work and great support from the community.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll talk later.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mavic, baby.